Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about DJI Mic Mini. So let's dive deep into it. Now, DJI Mic Mini, it's basically a miniature microphone, basically as small as they can make it, of this puppy, basically shrunk it as small as possible for low cost. Now, there are many amazing solutions in audio world, but you have to understand, audio world is expensive. Now, you may be like, how expensive? While cameras are expensive, you have to understand, because audio is not getting that much attention, the prices are ludicrous. Like, it will hurt to pay the prices that audio people have to pay for movies and TV shows. So, quality audio hardware is surprisingly expensive. So, having that sort of quality for low cost matters. Now, it has dual transmission mode, which makes it flexible for content creator, meaning you can just buy the transmitter and go YOLO on it. You just have the transmitter, it will work. You buy transmitter and receiver, YOLO. You buy one basically whole package, transmitter and one receiver. Now you have stereo recording and you can go YOLO on it. So it is a very flexible tool. However, this puppy is not 32-bit float, meaning the only advancement that happened in audio in last like 10-20 years. So the idea is you take microphone signal, analog domain, you clone that signal, send it to two preamps. One preamp is very low, one preamp is very high, and then convert it into digital signal, and then you mix it. Now, why would you want to do that? Here's the deal. There is a concept known as signal to noise ratio, meaning while you can adjust everything in 24-bit, the signal to noise ratio would be horrible. And if you do not have it, it's like hiss. It would be bad. So that's why we have gain setting. So we can basically improve the signal to noise ratio. Problem is, if you make the gain high enough and you get everything cool, even a little bit of higher volume spikes it, clips it, and ruins the audio. Having two of them, one is set for low, one is set for high, and it allows them to fine tune it. It's like, okay, this is a high gain system, fine tune it for just that. It makes them very precise for that one for very low gain, precise for that. So signal to noise ratio, both of them are very optimum, and when the high gain trips, it goes into the second one, so you get very high quality audio. So that's a desirable function. Now here's the deal, that's an expensive thing, and again, even DJI has that, Rode has that, DIT has that, but they are expensive. So what can you do here? Well, if you do not have that luxury, back in the old days of like 1960s and basically cassette tapes, somebody came up with the awesome idea of like, hey, it's just electricity, microphone, electrical signal, then it goes to the digitizer. So what if we can control it in that analog domain? So no latency, no programming in that analog domain. It's called analog limiter. So it has something like that. So the idea is that the moment basically signal start to reach that clipping point, electronically it stamps it down. Now it does kind of flattens the audio a bit. It's not desirable, but again, it does give you the idea that you can have your gain set very high and have a limiter. So if you get very clean audio, and when it clips, instead of ruining the audio, it just goes a bit muddy, so to say. But again, muddy audio is far more preferable against a clipped audio. So it has something similar. Now, is it working on digital domain? Is it working on analog domain? I do not know. Most companies nowadays do not talk about it. Most likely it would be an analog domain because it would be cheaper. So that's there. And it has advanced noise cancellation. Now be mindful, whenever you're talking about noise cancellation, people hate it, the people who are dealing with or analog domain, basically who are actual movie audio expert guys and sound engineers, they hate it. But for content creator, it does not matter, because here's the deal, my audio will get compressed the hell out of it while I'm making the video, and then it will compress the hell out of it in YouTube. Then it's going to be compressed if you are using Bluetooth headphone nowadays, which again will compress the hell out of it. It does not matter. So what matters is that pipeline. In that pipeline, clarity. So how do you get clarity? Advanced noise cancellation. This is an undesirable feature for TV shows and movies, but necessary add-on for content creator, for like, family vacation photos. So having that for this sort of hardware is a good thing. Very small. This puppy is small. Compact, meaning even the whole package with all the things included is not huge, meaning it will not take giant space. And adaptable, meaning how do you use it? It's up to you. You can have one, you can have a combo, you can have a tribo system, you can go YOLO on it. And price wise, it's surprisingly okay-ish, so to say, and this is price when I'm making this video. So full kit, you go YOLO, like full, give me everything that is available, with charging case, one receiver, two transmitters, basically stereo setup, is 16,500, which is not bad given the fact that it's actually cheaper than this. I'll explain what are the difference between this puppy and this puppy, but it is cheaper significantly. And then you come to mono kit, where you have one transmitter, one receiver. So something like this, where you do not need the stereo and you do not want to have the battery case and all that. So like, okay, the price drops to 8,500. which is not bad. This is like good. And then you have just the transmitter. Like, okay, if it's just the transmitter, where is the receiver? It's your mobile phone. It has dual transmission. It transmits over Bluetooth also. So that puppy is only 5,500. That's cheap. So this is why, again, there are microphones in Amazon that are available for very cheap price, even half of that price, and it has all the bells and whistles. There's a stereo mode, this and that. The audio quality is horrendous. So for that reason, you have to spend kind of money. So this is actually good price. And I have noticed one thing in DJI after covering them for so many years is that they actually listen from their past mistakes. For example, one of the, like, again, their box design was far ahead of what Rode had. And this time they're like, hey, what was the primary complaint? It's like, yeah, you have wind muff, cool, awesome. But if we put the wind muff, we cannot close the battery charging case. That is a minor oversight, but does cause headache because you have to remove it, add it, remove it, add it. They're like, okay, this time they made it big enough where you can just put it. That's a subtle thing, but that does show that somebody in DJI is as a good product engineer who's actually taking the feedback. Because again, these sort of little things directly affect your quality of service. Meaning, if you're not fighting with your equipment, you're gonna use it more. If you're fighting with your equipment, you're gonna be frustrated. So this is a very good thing, and I'm seeing a lot of that sort of touch where it's like, oh, this will make your life easier. This will not make your life easier. Let's do this. So it's a very good, well thought out system for content creator, specifically targeting them. It's not like, oh, this is a cinema equipment. No, it's not. They are not claiming it. It's a cheap equipment designed for getting you started into your journey, and that's it. And it's very good for that and cost competitive for that. So specification. Now the tiny puppy that it has, it's lighter than this, around 10 grams, which is light, few coins. So it's a very light, and it has 10 hours battery, which is actually higher than DJI Rode, or DJI, I'm saying, DJI Mic 2. So it's like, what the hell? That is huge. And compared to this, almost like 3x the weight difference. So I'll explain why the heck that has such a shorter battery life. This has dual transmission mode, which makes it far more elegant solution. For example, if you are just a mobile streamer, right? You have your mobile phone cameras are awesome nowadays. Heck, if you have even a cheap mobile phone, but again, it's a recent one, as in like made after 2022, it's more than good enough. You want an amazing setup, go into your rooftop. Basically, wherever you have sunlight, have a diffuser like, curtains and all that, and have sunlight coming through it. You will be amazed how awesome quality lighting you can get out of it. And your front camera, basically back camera, have a mirror behind the basically your smartphone, so you can actually see yourself. You're gonna be shocked how amazing the output is. And the only thing missing at that point would be audio. Audio cannot be cheated. Does not matter if you have iPhone or Samsung Galaxy Ultra or whatever have you. Audio, you do need this sort of thing. So it has that. It will directly transmit the audio directly, as in the transmitter will directly transmit to your mobile phone through Bluetooth channel. Nothing needed. No extra step needed. Have this, done, go home. And I'm actually shocked how the heck a Rode is not even trying to do this. That's why I'm saying, like, Rode was the first company to make something like this, and DJI is like, oh, I do you one better. And then by the time they started to release the second, they're like, hey, why don't we have this communicating with our devices directly? It's like, oh, they started to do that with their action camera. Now this is the final evolution of that. Hey, it's 2.5 gigahertz radio. It's the same freaking frequency as Bluetooth. Might as well add that protocol also. So this is a very good thing. So it has dedicated protocol, basically talking to the receiver for camera and all that stuff for your mobile phone, for your laptop. And if you are like, I directly want to do Bluetooth, go YOLO on it. That's also available. So, and receiver also has two modes of output. First is analog output, the normal system, basically like a Rode Wireless Go 2, where you have a cable that is dumping audio analog mode wise to your camera. And then you have digital mode, which is from USB-C. And yes, they do have lightning option, but I think they're smart enough where they're like, yeah, Apple has already abandoned lightning, so it does not make sense to mass produce that. So they're like, okay, only mass produce few of them. Space is there. The box has space of them. So I'm like, somebody designed it, bro. They're like, yeah, let's not introduce it. Like, just have some piece, they will order it, because again, it's a expiring resource, so to say, because again, all the iPhones eventually will be replaced. All the iPhones will eventually be replaced with USB-C. So bulk ordering that, even if this product only runs for 3 to 5 years in the market, it would be wasteful. So they're like, that's a clever use. Now case closes with wind muff. Again, that's a little thing, but that's like, somebody thought of it. So that's a very good thing. And here's the deal. The case can charge your transmitters 3 times. So everything, basically you use it, discharged it, now put it in the box. How many times you can do this? You can do that more than 3 times. So that's more than good enough. And There is another aspect. Is like, what if you just have the single unit, meaning just this, nothing else? They will give you the cradle. Now cradle is just a cradle. It does not have data communication. It's not designed to that because it does not have memory inside. So the cradle is just a charger. So that's a USB-C charger, almost like a smartwatch charging. So something like that is there. And other things that they thought of is, what if everything is drained, right? You did not use the puppies for a few days, battery is completely dead, and you need to do something important right now. They have really high fast charging. Basically, charge it for 5 minutes, it's going to give you a runtime of 1 hour. That's good. That's very good. So that's there. Now, another problem with Bluetooth, like why don't every company does that if Bluetooth can be used? Bluetooth was designed in 1990s, and while it has gone through updates, it has never actually changed, never actually upgraded. The audio protocol, the backbone, yeah, it's stuck at the same thing. So the actual audio transmission quality is very low. Again, it's designed for backwards compatibility and all that. It was designed for call. So the quality depth is not there. The hardware is there, the radio signals are there, everything is there. It's just that protocol is the weak link, so to say. That's why companies do not prefer you using Bluetooth. Like, they can do it. It's just like, yeah, it's like our, $10,000 microphone sounds like freaking $500 microphone because the audio compression through that Bluetooth protocol. So they're like, hey, we give you Bluetooth protocol, which again, if you are just listening through Bluetooth itself, it's not that big of a deal. And again, content creators are going through a different pipeline. They're not like, I'm recording the best sound, people are getting to listen in theater or they're going to watch it in a home theater. They know that everybody's listening over Bluetooth. Does not matter that much. So they give you that option. And when you're like, hey, I have a device, which again, I only bought this, but I did bought, let's say, DJI's other action camera. They're like, hey, what if I use the Bluetooth? Hey, what if I improve the protocol? Now, you must have noticed the same thing with Sony. Sony is like, if you buy Sony's headphones, they have an advanced aptech kind of technology, which if it detects the compatible device over Bluetooth, it's going to improve the signal quality. Basically, protocol improvement. So something similar is done here from DJI to DJI device. That's clever. That's like something clever. So that's also there. So that's what I'm saying. It almost looks like they tried it once. It's like, we can do better. That's like, this is the better aspect. So everything is there. High quality audio is there. Fast charging is there. Now, no onboard recording. That makes it not a pro device, meaning this is what it is. It's a content creator kind of device. This is not something I will trust if your livelihood depends on it. And you're like, wait a minute, content creator do make a livelihood. It's like livelihood depends as in like somebody else is paying you. Basically, it's like, hey, can you cover this interview? At that point, no, do not buy this. I'll explain why exactly you do not want to, but does not have onboard recording. But does have auto limiter, which does mean you're going to get an audio that is useful. You do not have to adjust with the levels. So that's the good parts of it. So for whom this is made? Well, it's a very easy tool to get content creation started. Other companies have made good tools, but they are very demanding kind of tool, meaning it's hard to use. DJI has made a lot of effort into making their tools just plug and play. That part does show. That part, like just the fact that you can put it in your case, just the fact that you can charge the case. They figured it out one generation before Rode did. So everything about them is just like, hey, let's make it easy to use. Even here, they have just a knob. It's like just easy to use. Everything is easy to use. So very easy to use. Pair with a mobile phone, pair with your action camera, pair, and just chill. Like, don't think too much. Like, oh, I have this DJI camera. Oh, I have this DJI. You do not have to think too much about it. Just plug it, use it, done. And low cost of entry, because again, you can start with just with that. If you have a DJI action camera, you can just start with that microphone and just YOLO it. And we're like, hey, now I want to do it with the camera. Now you can buy the receiver. So it's a very good getting started kind of tool. Cost of entry for just entry, like, let me experiment with this, very low. So that's the good part. Scale up to the pro camera, meaning where you can have finely stereo audio going into your camera. That is a very desirable thing. And setup is very pro quality, not the like robustness, but it's a very good system. It's not like very cheap Chinese product where it's like, God hope that it works. So it's a very good system. Price is close enough to Holland, I think, Lark M2. And in India, prices are a bit different. But in abroad, I've seen most people comparing, the prices are almost neck and neck. So for those sort of people who are like just getting started, easy tool, you do not want to fight, you do not want to adjust things. It's just like, hey, plug and use. This is a very good tool. And for a content creator who's just getting started, really not overwhelming. So it's a very good start. Now, why I'm saying this is not a pro tool? Because again, if you cannot do retakes. For example, I went to some events. Let's say I went to Scale conference basically this year. So in that conference, I was doing interviews with a lot of amazing people. But here's the, I cannot say that, hey, can you redo that interview because my microphone dropped? Yeah, no, not acceptable. And another scenario why would it ever drop? Here's the deal. If you can control all the hardware, right? You are controlling the hardware on your end. You do not control the radio environment. For example, if you are in a place where you have a lot of interference, for example, you are in a stadium and stadium just right next to you has a 2.5 gigahertz outdoor rated Wi-Fi repeater. Yeah, it's gonna overwhelm that 2.5 gigahertz receiver you have on your camera. At that point, your audio would be like, nope. And without recording, like onboard recording on the transmitter, you're dead. You're stuck. So fundamentally, you do need this recording. Like, it's a safety net, but it's one of those things where it's like, we wear safety belt in a car, not because we want to get into accident. It's just that if we get into accident, likelihood of surviving goes up. So for those reasons, I will never say trust this if you're getting paid, because again, you cannot do retake. So onboard recordings are like a very must have for many scenarios, where it's like, does that guarantee you will never mess up? Does that guarantee like nothing bad will happen? Hell no. It just improves the probability. It's like, like I did had one issue where it's like, I did use this, it does have onboard recording, I forgot to turn it on. So yeah, that's on you. So that's on me. Another aspect is, what do you get for paying that much more? Again, onboard recording is one thing. What else do you get? You get 32-bit. Nowadays, again, 32-bit is the only major change happened to audio industry in like few years ago. It's the fact that all these three, be it DAT 32-bit setup, DJI 32-bit setup, or wireless GoPro 32-bit setup. The fact is, because they have analog audio cloned to two boosters, so to say, preamplifiers, they are fine-tuned for that, meaning they have one preamplifier whose signal to noise ratio is fine-tuned for high sensitivity, but it clips very easily. No problem. What happens after it clips? Nothing. It goes to the second channel, basically the second analog to digital converter that is tuned for loud noises. So the signal to noise ratio is very good there by default. Now you get very quiet audio from one amplifier, very loud audios from another one. Nothing clips, and all of them are merged into one 32-bit float file. Now the reason it's 32-bit float is basically 0 dB. You have negative dB. So signal is literally like this, and that float signal allows you to create an artificial zero line. So that 0 dB is an artificial system. It just folds the data mathematically. Yes, computers are like that. So you can fold the data. So whenever you see now people are pulling the data, they're not pulling the data. Data is always there. It's just that mathematically they are moving up that 0 dB line. But again, does require the file to be float. Or you can even have linear 32-bit. Problem with linear 32-bit, it does not port. Like, you cannot listen to it. If audio signal is very low, you will not be able to hear it. But if you have 32-bit float, you can hear it. And if it clips, you know where it's clipping. And then it's like, okay, in that area, I have to tune it. So 32-bit float is desirable for high dynamic range, meaning if you're doing a TV show, a wedding, or any scenario where you have the luxury of sitting down and tuning the audio, you would want to have quality, rich audio coming from your microphone. And then comes the another aspect is the microphones that are available in this puppy or this puppy, all these sort of things are okay. But again, the moment you want quality audio, where it's like, I am paying for this, you want to go into basically this sort of microphones. And here's the deal. Some of them are very small, like almost a rice grain size. Adam Savage is the one who made me aware of this. Is the fact that whenever he has to go in TED Talks, he's like, okay, people are like, dude, cameras is so close to it, I can't see the microphone. It's like, yeah, the microphone is in the glass. He literally notched a rice grain size hole. So he puts the microphone there, cable goes behind there. So you can have a 4K camera into your face, nobody will see the microphone. But again, it's so close to your mouth, the signal to noise ratio is awesome. Then it goes behind his backpack where you can see the this sort of transmitter. You need that. Again, if you are doing a TV shoot, if you are doing any sort of scenario where you need this to be hidden very close to someone's face, you have to use this sort of block option is not a go. So having external mic support, it's a good thing. It's a necessary in some scenarios. So in those sort of contexts, it's like, yeah, you have to pay for this. Another aspect is some projects may require time code. It's like, again, it's necessary or not necessary, that's up to you. But if your project requires it, like you are working in the team and they're like, hey, we need time code, whatever else the reason for it, and like, oh, it's not necessary, it does not matter. If someone requires it, they need it. That's the whole point. So you may be like, okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet and buy this expensive thing. It's up to you. So it's not a pro tool. Let that be very clear. DJI Mic Mini mic is a good tool, but not a pro tool. And again, it would have become Pro Tool even without that 32-bit, but recording is necessary because again, you can see people are testing it. It says 400 meter. People are testing it for 150 meters. Like, yeah, audio starts to drop. And because there is no recording, you cannot recover it. So, and again, anytime where you cannot do retake, reaction, take 2, take 3, it becomes a hassle. And not hassle, it's like hazard. So that's why it's not a Pro Tool. It's a low cost, getting started kind of kit. Very good compared to anything else for this sort of kind of price range. And you can just go on with it. And again, I am really happy that flexibility wise, because again, at starter years, you do not have the luxury, oh, I have this tool for this job, this tool for this job. Like, no, I want this tool to do everything. They're like, hey, I have this tool that is very good for my camera, but I also want to use it for my live streaming. You can do that. And again, if you watch my channel's live stream, I use this mic itself. So that's why it's a flexible tool, comfortable tool, but not a Pro Tool. So this was my presentation on DJI Mic Mini. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.